Usher ministry.
Ministry of church ushers play a vital role in the hospitality and welcoming of the church community. As a whole, ushers hosts help other church members and assist visitors to experience wonderful church service.
How are the meetings coordinated? Who's the moderator?
Usher leaders and the moderator meet up once a week in the chapel or in the back of campus ministry. Ushers need to always communicate with their moderator and check if any help is needed. Also, don't forget about the blue cards.
What are the rules and conducts for ushers?
Ushers need to be an expert in time management, prioritizing tasks, and be able to follow tactical orders and structures. This is the sacristy, and usher leaders need to make sure their ushers sign up before class masses or chapel masses start. Chapel masses, usher leaders need to put up name tags for each classes on the side of the pews. When classes start to come in, a pair of ushers will ask them which class they are in. One leader will lead in the front and the other will assist in the back. Ushers will have to keep the students together by their classes and be always welcoming and smiling. Once Mass starts, ushers will usually stand at the back and wait for their turn to go up and help. This is an example of how ushers will assist the students and staff for communion, row by row from the very back to the front. Ushers will encourage everyone to participate when receiving the blood and the body of Christ. During chapel masses, we have to constantly communicate for any updates.
Next, we will be explaining floor seating. For the floor seating, we split our ushers into 4 main groups. These groups determine where our ushers should be standing and what section of the gym they will be guiding. First, let's start off with groups 1 and 2. Groups 1 and 2 are on the sides of the gym by the entrances next to the wrestling room and M2. They consist of 2 pairs of ushers, 4 people in total on each side. Their job starts off with one person asking the entering students what teacher's class they are coming with, while the partner, on the other hand, is leading all of that class to the back of the gym. Then, once the end of the class has been found, the remaining partner walks with the end of the class, making sure that they all stay together. The next pair of ushers then take over and do the same thing the first pair did. This process repeats itself until all the students are seated. Moving on to Group 3. Group 3 ushers stand in the back of the senior seating area. Their job is to make sure that no one is passing through and merging with other classes. Remember, all students must be seated with the classes in which they came from. Lastly is Group 4. Group 4 ushers help find seating for the senior classes. They are in charge of keeping those classes out of the passageways and making sure they do not block or create more traffic.
This usher team is responsible for seating students on the San Fernando Mission side. Students come in, remember that all classes stay together, and students remain quiet. Floor ushers 2, 4, and 6 will guide students all the way down to where the scoreboard is. From there, they will guide the students all the way up to the top and tell them to try to fill in the middle sections first. Bleacher seats will gradually fill up from top to bottom. Once every student is seated, all ushers will sit behind Christian leadership and wait for Mass to begin.
This is a diagram of what the outside ushers should do. So let's start off with ushers 1 and 2. Ushers 1 and 2 will work in pairs to greet and escort classes into the gym. A pair will be in charge of the east side door of the gym, welcoming the students and directing them into the hallway. Next off, we have ushers 3 and 4 who will be holding cups for gum so that the students can throw away their gum. Outside ushers will be in charge of collecting the gums before the students enter into the gym. Finally, we have Usher 5, who will be designated right in front of the doors, as there tends to be more traffic in this area. Usher 5 will direct the students and the teachers in a respectful and orderly manner. Side ushers do not have a specific job during communion, but we do always help out other ushers in different areas.
Now for the instructions on the Rinaldi side bleachers. Here we go. Okay, so when students start walking in through the entrance near the athletic office, there will be student ushers from the floor team that will bring groups of students to ushers 2 and 4. Ushers 2 and 4 have the jobs of bringing them down to the far right bleachers. Once the far right bleachers are filled up with students, you move on and start filling up the rows for the middle right bleachers. You do the same process that you did for the far right bleachers, but instead, Usher 2 will be taking groups of students from the floor usher team to bring them to Ushers 4 and 3. Ushers 4 and 3 will take charge and fill up the middle right bleachers. Ushers 5 and 6 should help Ushers 3 and 4 fill the middle right bleachers, as it would make the process faster and cause less clumping and traffic for the students. Once the middle right bleachers are filled up with students, you move on to the middle left bleachers and start filling them up with students. Ushers 2, 5, and 6 should take groups of students from the floor usher team and start filling in the middle left bleachers. Make sure that there's no bottlenecking and that this process goes quickly and smoothly. Once the middle left bleachers are finished being filled in with students, ushers 1 and 2 should start filling in the far left bleachers with the rest of the groups of students. Everyone should keep in mind that they're in mass, so the usher team for the Rinaldi side have to make sure that their side of students stays quiet and keeps in good behavior. Remember that once an usher pair has finished filling in their assigned bleachers, that usher pair should help the rest of the other usher pairs to fill in their bleachers so that the process goes faster. Make sure that there's never any bottlenecking or traffic within the student groups that are trying to get into their rows and seats. Now for the communion gym held mass instructions. Once the ushers notice that the priest is starting to prepare for communion, they should begin to get up and go back to their original positions they had at the beginning of Mass. This goes for the ushers of the Rinaldi side bleachers and the rest of the usher teams. While ushers 2, 4, and 6 are standing beside the Eucharistic ministers of their aisles, ushers 1, 3, and 5 should be in charge of bringing down the students down their aisles according to the way the arrows are pointing on the diagram. Once ushers 1, 3, and 5 have finished bringing students down each of their aisles, ushers 1, 3, and 5 should join ushers 2, 4, and 6 in their aisles to help the Eucharistic ministers and stand beside them. If they see that the student has not received the sacrament of communion, Then they must advise the student to cross their arms over their chest like so.